I will need you all to roll initiative.
I got a 6.
I rolled a 16.
I got a 16 as well.
20 total.
As the mist swirls and the unseen force readies its next strike, you all react in an instant. Tova, you're the quickest on the draw. Raykar and Wilter, you're right behind him, ready to move. And Fitz, well, you'll get with the program soon enough. Tova, you're up first. What's your move?
I'm going to stay put for now. No sense in crowding the hallway. But Raykar, how are you holding up?
Raykar, you feel the sting of the blade as the blood continues to seep down your side. But the danger isn't over yet. The mist still lingers thick and heavy. Your vision is obscured, and there's something in the air.
I'm fine, but we need to clear this damn hallway. Keep your eyes peeled, Tover. Whatever's hiding here is no joke.
Am I able to spot anything, Morgan?
Make a perception check. This won't count as your action for the turn, so don't worry.
Just a 12, nothing too good.
However, you narrow your eyes and scan the misty hallway, trying to make sense of the shifting shadow. The mist clings to the floor, slowly seeping into the room with you and Wilter, and you squint into the fog, but nothing seems to emerge from it.
I don't see anything. It's just too quiet. Whatever it is, it's hiding well. I'm going to hold vicious mockery from this angle in case whatever that was pops back up.
Raykar, the pain from the sword strike still fresh across your side. You stand firm in the doorway. The mist is thick around you, swirling unnaturally, and you can barely make out anything beyond the fog. You feel the grip of your sword tighten in your hand as the battle-ready instinct kicks in. With a quick glance over your shoulder, you see Tover still in the room, peering out into the hallway, and Fitz keeping a watchful eye, his expression tense. The silence is unbearable, punctuated only by your own labored breathing. What would you do now?
I'm already sick of this town. I'll kick the sword into the previous room and move forward from the doorway. Am I able to spot anything?
You can make a perception check as well.
I got a 23.
Nice, Ronald.
You step forward, your boots heavy against the floor, the mist swirling around your legs like a living thing. You kick the sword back into the room you just came from, the metallic scrape echoing against the marble, now stained with streaks of your own blood. With your keen perception, you peer through the haze, searching for any clue to where the attacker went. You catch a glimpse of something, an odd shimmer in the mist like a distortion, as though whatever force is after you isn't far from where you stand. Suddenly, the mist across the room seems to recoil slightly, revealing a faint silhouette in the corner of your vision. A figure, almost invisible, hovers just above the ground, its presence barely perceptible. It flickers like a shadow caught in the corner of your eye.
Blimey, it's a poltergeist!
Found you. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on it, Morgan. That's a DC 14 dex save.
It fails. How much damage?
That'll be 6 radiant damage.
Your eyes lock onto the fleeting shadow in the mist, and without hesitation, you raise your hand, invoking the divine power of the flame. The air around you crackles. A bolt of radiant energy erupts from your palm, streaking through the fog toward the elusive figure. The sacred flame strikes true, illuminating the mist with a flash of brilliant light. For a moment, you can see the form of the poltergeist, or whatever it is, writhing in agony as the radiant energy sears through it. The creature lets out a sound, more of a shriek than anything else, and you watch as it flickers, struggling to hold its shape. The mist swirls in a frenzied motion, but the figure shudders, the radiant damage clearly taking its toll. You can feel the presence waver, as if it's been momentarily destabilized. It's hurt, but not gone.
Sounds like you gave it a good singe, lad. I will move into the hallway and cast a witch bolt, Morgan. Brilliant. That's a 22 to hit and 6 lightning damage. Back to the grave with you, poltergeist.
Well done, Wilter. Give it what for.
As you step just far enough into the doorway, your eyes narrow, tracing where Raykar's radiant flame struck. You extend your staff, crackling blue energy arcing from the tip. The bolt slams into the swirling mist, connecting with something invisible, holding tight like a leash on a wild dog. The sizzles and that unearthly wail rings out again. You know you've hit your mark, and the energy remains tethered, pulsing with power.
Got you now, you bloody ghost. Let's see how long you last.
And now it will go. I will need you to make a strength check, Wilter.
Only a 4, terrible.
Just as your magic crackles through the mist, you feel an unseen force wrap around you, Wilter, cold and unyielding. Suddenly, you're yanked off your feet, your small frame lifted like a rag doll. Before you can react, you're hurtling through the air toward the stairs. You see from your angled over your ally being flung past the doorway.
Bloody hell!
With a series of loud, clattering thuds and grunts, your stout dwarven form tumbled down the staircase in a chaotic, comical fashion. Staff spinning one way, head flying off in the other. You finally come to a painful stop at the bottom, bruised and winded, but alive. You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage from that tumble.
Wilter, you all right down there?
Bloody poltergeist. Feels like I got tossed by an ogre.
Roll a concentration check as well, Wilter.
Terrible roll again. My spell drops.
Just as you're catching your breath, Wilter, that crackling beam of energy fizzles out. You all look up just in time to see the mist surge upward, phasing clean through the ceiling like it's nothing but air. The energy of your spell cuts off abruptly, and the hallway falls silent once more. Only the faint creaking of the house and your own breaths filling the space.
Damn it, it's gone again.
Well, that was something. You all right down there, old man?
Nothing broken but my pride, lad. Still hurts like the devil, though.
Seems it doesn't care for our company. Reckon it's regrouping somewhere upstairs.
That was no ordinary haunting. Whatever's left in this place, it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, and it knows we're here. No sense hiding now. Let's keep moving. Preferably before it tries to toss one of us out a window next.
Well, I could take a minute, maybe 10, to call on a little help. Been thinking about conjuring up a familiar to keep watch for us. Could be handy, given the way this place likes to sneak up on us.
A watchful eye wouldn't hurt. Though 10 minutes in this cursed house sounds like an eternity.
We can hold the line while you do it. No point rushing into another trap without knowing what's up ahead.
Right then, keep those eyes sharp while I get to work. Won't be long.
Your room remains tense as Wilter continues his ritual. Fitz leans against the doorway, keeping an eye on the hallway where the mist had started to seep. Rhaegar stands nearby, sword still drawn, his gaze shifting between the stairwell and the doorway. Rover peeks through the drapes, looking for any sign of movement outside. The mist beyond the glass shifts and swirls like a living thing, but there's no sign of the werewolves that chased you all in.
How much longer on that spell, Wilter?
Halfway there. Be patient, boy. We'll have better chances with Rufus.
Rufus, really? That's the name you're going with? Sounds like an old man's drinking buddy.
Keep talking and you'll be getting no help from me, fancy boy.
Nah, it's just fitting, I guess. You're gonna need some backup after getting yeeted down the stairs like a sack of potatoes.
Just wait. You'll be begging for Rufus's help once we're neck deep in whatever's haunting this place.
Assuming he doesn't get punted down the stairs like his master.
Leave him be. Rufus was a loyal companion back when we first set out. Saved our hides more than once.
Enough of that, Fitz. Save your breath for whatever comes next.
Bet Rufus will be more useful than you when this is done.
We'll see.
After another few minutes pass by, the ritual circle suddenly flares with brighter light, and Rufus appears. A stout, muscular bulldog with a stocky build and a confident stance. He snorts, then shakes his jowls and bloods over to you, Wilter, looking up with bright, intelligent eyes.
Just like I remember. Good to see you, old boy. All right, lad. Head upstairs and take a look around. I'll see through your eyes. Be careful.
Wilter's eyes glaze over, and he leans back against the wall, going unnaturally still.
Wilter, you good?
Wizard trick, I guess. Seems like he's seeing through the dog's eyes.
It's a useful technique. Had a mage friend back in the day who used a raven. Same thing. Let him scout without ever leaving camp.
It's like he's sleepwalking with his eyes open. Creepy.
It takes a certain mindset, I suppose. One that's willing to rely on another creature's instincts. But for Wilter, Rufus is more than just a familiar. He's an old friend. Trust like that can't be easily broken.
Rufus reaches the third-floor landing, his keen nose picking up scents of mildew and decay. A suit of black plate armor looms silently in the center of the front wall, draped in thick cobwebs that glisten in the faint light from the oil lamps mounted on the oak-paneled walls. It's the intricate carvings of woodland scenes. Trees, falling leaves, and tiny critters give the hallway an eerie beauty. 4 doors can be seen from here. 2 are cracked open while the others are closed fully.
Have a look in that room there, Rufus.
Rufus listens to your telepathic command, pushing open the double doors, which bear the faint outline of windmill designs in the stained glass, creak open into the bedroom beyond. The sight of the room is both grand and depressing, an elegant but forgotten space filled with the remnants of a once beautiful home. On the floor lies a rotting tiger skin rug, the smell of decay lingering in the air. In front of the fireplace, a portrait of a man and a woman hangs, their painted faces forever gazing into the room, their expressions frozen in time. In the southwest corner, a parlor is tucked away, the table in the center covered with dust, 2 chairs resting idly beside it. The porcelain bowl and jug seem to mock the emptiness of the space, untouched and unused for ages. A door frame with a full-length mirror faces the foot of the bed, while another door leads to an outdoor balcony. Through the mist, it's hard to tell whether anything's on the other side of that door, but the sound of the wind outside is faintly audible.
I'll speak to the group now. The next floor is the last. There is a suit of armor by the landing that I am quite wary of, and 4 rooms. One of them is a master bedroom so far.
Any sign of the ghost?
He's seeing through Rufus right now, completely deaf to us. You'd have better luck whispering to the dog directly.
I'll have Rufus check the remaining rooms, Morgan, and I'm keeping an eye out for that poltergeist.
Make a perception check. You'll be using Rufus's sight for this.
The 16, that's my boy.
Rufus nudges open the nearby door to reveal a bathroom, simple and worn, with a wooden tub resting on clawed feet. An iron stove sits cold and unused, while a barrel rests beneath a spigot on the far wall. Dust dances through the faint light that slips in from the cracked window. Rufus trots back out into the hall, his nose low to the ground as he approaches the next door. It's closed, solid and stubborn, and despite his weight pressing against it, it doesn't budge. The same goes for the second door, refusing to move under the bulldog's determined push. But as he attempts to push open this last door on the landing, Rufus's ears perk up. From the other side comes a soft, mournful sound, a woman sobbing, muffled but undeniably there.
Stay here, boy, we're coming up. I'll return to my vision now, Morgan.
Wilter blinks a few times, rubbing his temples as he snaps back to reality.
There's crying. A woman coming from the last door on the landing. Rufus couldn't get the other 2 open, but that one, it's definitely someone on the other side.
Maybe it's a spirit tied to this place or someone trapped up there. Either way, we can't just ignore it.
We have to check it out either way. It's not like this place is giving us any better options.
All right, let's move upstairs and see what we're dealing with. We'll be cautious. No sense getting ambushed again.
Agreed. Stay close and keep your weapons ready.
The creaking of the old wooden stairs groans beneath your weight as you make your way up, the air growing colder with each step. At the top, you find Rufus sitting patiently by the door, his ears perked and his head tilted slightly as if listening. The sound of the woman's crying is audible now, but still unmistakable, muffled by the heavy wooden door.
You mentioned being suspicious of the armor, right, Wilter?
Oh, right, that armor. Looked real nasty. Black plate covered in cobwebs. Just something about it didn't sit right with me.
If Wilter's so worried, I'll toss my dagger at it. All right, Wilter, watch this.
What are you doing, you fool?
Fitz, with a smirk, pulls one of his daggers and throws it at the suit of armor, aiming for its chest. The dagger clatters off the metal, harmlessly bouncing away with no response from the armor.
Well, that's disappointing. I was really hoping I would be wrong there. I'm heading to that room with the crying. You all coming?
As Fitz passes near the suit, there's a sudden creak from the armor. The sound is almost imperceptible at first, but then a low, grinding noise echoes through the hall as the suit of armor's eyes glow faint red and its large iron hands shift before attempting to slam into Fitz twice.
Ah, shit.
Go ahead and roll for initiative, gentlemen. You'll be surprised for this first round fits.
Crap, my bad guys. I thought it would have got pissed after I threw a dagger at it.
It wasn't alive yet, I think. It was waiting for someone to approach it.
A fight was inevitable. We can just thank John for taking the punch this time rather than me.
That's exactly what I was going for, totally.
I rolled a 5.
Got 17.
Me too.
I got an 18.
All right, the order will be Raykar, Dover, Fitz, the armor, and then Wilter. Before you go ahead, Raykar, let me roll the attacks against Fitz. That is a 21 and a 17 to hit.
Only one of those hits me, thankfully.
Max damage on that one. The armor slams its gauntleted fist, crashing into your side with brutal force. That is 8 bludgeoning damage total. Go ahead now, Raykar.
I'm gonna try to help out Fitz, so I'll get up close and attack with my short sword. Not the best, only a 10 to hit.
That's not going to be enough. You swing your short sword with a fierce arc, but it glances off the armor's plated shoulder, barely leaving a scratch. The suit doesn't even flinch, as if your strike didn't bother it at all. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'll summon my spiritual weapon, I think. Hopefully it can crack through this thing's shell.
Sounds good. You sticking with the summon you decided on when we last spoke?
Yup, love myself some jelly beans.
Some jelly beans? What are you talking about?
As you mutter quick prayer under your breath, a spectral jar of jelly beans materializes next to the armor, floating ominously in the air.
That's a 22 to hit.
Roll damage.
That'll be 8 bludgeoning.
With a sudden burst of divine energy, the jar tips forward and crashes into the armor's helmet, scattering spectral jelly beans everywhere. The shards of glass dissipate before reappearing beside Raykar once again.
Whatever works, I suppose.
I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery on the armor, Morgan. It's a DC 13 Wisdom save.
Not the best roll. It got a 3 and has a -4 to Wisdom.
Perfect. I'll give it a right insult. You're about as harmful as a bullet to the bull moose.
The armor's movements are slow and noticeably weaker. It clearly seems off balance, though the psychological damage from your attack seems to have no effect.
Not the most sensitive thing, is it? At least I was able to give it disadvantage. That's all from me for now.
All right, you escaped Fitz, and the armor already went. We'll go to you now, Wilter.
I'll be upcasting a magic missile to 2nd level. That is 12 force damage from all 4 darts.
The missiles hit the animated armor with pinpoint accuracy, slamming into it with forceful impacts. The clanging of metal echoes through the room as the armor shudders from the blows, the force of the impact knocking loose some of its cobweb-covered pieces.
Looks like we're getting there. That's all from me.
I'll be swinging again and sending my jar of jelly beans at it as well.
Why jelly beans of all things?
I got an 18 to hit, but only an 11 for my jelly beans.
The 18 just barely hits. Roll damage.
6 slashing.
This time your swing connects with the armor, the sharp edge of your short sword biting through the metal with a satisfying clang. The blow lands with precision, causing the suit of armor to shudder in response. You've dealt a solid hit. Your jar of jelly beans, on the other hand, crashes into the floor, missing its targets as the suit of armor recoils from your attack on it. They again appear by your side once again shortly after.
Unfortunately, most of my spells at the moment are area of effect ones, so I suppose I'll join the fray and go in with my rapier. That's an unnatural 20 and a total of 5 piercing.
You step forward with a swift and determined move, gripping your rapier tightly. You lunge, the blade striking true, piercing the joints of the animated armor. The metal creaks and groans under the weight of the blow, leaving the suit of armor barely holding itself together, teetering on the edge of collapse as it begins to nearly disassemble from the ground up.
Now you're on your last leg. Finish this thing off, boys.
A natural 20 should do the trick. About time I got in on the action. That's 14 slashing damage from my longsword.
With a grin on his face, Fitz charges forward, his longsword gleaming as he swings with all his might. The blade cuts cleanly through the weakened armor, slicing it open like paper. With a powerful blow, the armor clatters to the ground, its once imposing form collapsing into a heap of metal and rust. with the battle over the room now falls eerily quiet, as does the crying from the adjacent room.